behalf of Ajeenkya DY Patil University and CIPU, today it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for a very enlightening panel discussion. Topic of this panel discussion is building institutional agility, registrar's role in change management. And for this wonderful topic, we have four eminent personalities with us. May I welcome Dr. Sanjeevani Shetye, Registrar for DES Pune University. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Dr. Mahesh Chopade, Registrar,
Thank you.
MIT ADT Pune University. Dr. Prashant Dave, Registrar, NICMAR Pune, and Registrar of Ajeenkya DY Patil University, Dr. Sudhakar Shinde. I welcome you all. Should we start?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, I would thank CIPU for taking this wonderful initiative. They are doing a lot of work in understanding the challenges and the opportunities available for private university. And this is part of one of their initiatives. Ajeenkya DY Patil University is the venue partner for this panel discussion. Now, may I request Dr. Sanjeevani to enlighten us on what does institutional agility mean in the context of higher education to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. I will brief in short about the activity of the institution. The main role of the registrar is the administrator. Administration regarding the staff, regarding the students, and regarding higher students. So in this case, we have to interact with the parents, we have to interact with the staff, we have to interact with the higher, and the registrar role is the mediator in this facility. So I quickly brief about when the systems are in place. We don't have to look more into that. But if systems it's not there, we have more struggles. My role over the 3-4 universities was at the starting of the establishment. So I have faced many difficulties in the systems. While establishing systems, the main concern is man management. We have to take care of the staff and the students because they are assets. So I will, in short, I will say that we have to place the systems in the university, and it will take next year.
Right. So I feel it is better to sharpen our edge rather than directly cutting the trees. So you always insisted on laying the systems.
Yes.
Great take. Why is agility critical for universities in the current regulatory and technological environment? I have this question for Dr. Mahesh.
Yeah. Actually, if you look at back 2013, the government of Maharashtra accepted the regulations which were published by University Grants Commission in 2003, and then onwards they accepted the proposals for establishment of private universities in the state of Maharashtra. But before that, there were the affiliated culture, and the institutions used to conduct the academics part, and the entire remaining administration related to the examination, then declaration of the results, and honoring with the degrees. That part used to be taken care by the affiliated universities. Like in Pune, you may say the Pune University played the role. But when after becoming the private universities, like the institutional culture has been vanished, and all those institutions become the constituent units of the private universities. But still the mindset of the faculty and all the administrators were like, they are the affiliated culture kind of thoughts were with them, and always used to get a resistance in the administration, like some kind of work. They used to say like, we don't have that responsibility, or this is not a part of our responsibility, used to happen. So kind of a resistance used to get from the administrators as well as from the faculty members. But later on, when they realized we are not in affiliated culture, now we are in university. Even at the beginning, like if somebody is asking, where are you going? They used to say, I'm going to college. But now the culture has changed and they are saying, now I'm going to the university. So that change is happening now. But this has taken almost 10 years. But now the institutional agility, like every administrator, I feel personally, every administrator and every faculty of the university should be so flexible enough. Because see, unless until if you take the acceptance of that flexibility, you should utilize that flexibility, you change yourself and come into the competition. Because nowadays the competition we earlier used to happen with the affiliated institutes. Now the competition was with the other private universities as well as with the public universities. But now in the last year itself, government of Maharashtra has given the permissions for foreign universities to be established in the state of Maharashtra. So our competition is now with the foreign groups of institutions. So for that purpose, I feel personally everyone should be so flexible enough and they should change their mindset and come into the administration, come into the academics with that broad mindset for the development of the students, for the nation building and everything. So that will be the, I personally feel that will be the great message to the society. And if we do something regarding this one, definitely it will be benefited to the student community and ultimately we will get the kind of students or the kind of manpower which our Prime Minister is also expecting in the nation building. We are seeing the prospective approach of this country like towards 2047. But unless until it will be changed from every perspective, that is not possible. So I personally feel everyone should be so flexible enough and they should change their mindset and come forward, be a part of this system and take it ahead. That will be greatly benefited to the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. From rigidity to agility, this is what Dr. Mahesh Chopade is recommending. And yes, I think it is very important for our faculties and the administrative staff to gear up for this particular change. Now, my question is for Dr. Prashant Dave. How does change management differ from routine administrative reform? And how do you think you, as a registrar, is facilitating this change?
Okay. So routine reforms, what I feel is very pertinent question. Many times we actually believe that these routine reforms are itself transformation, but that's not the case. What I believe is routine reforms improves efficiency, whereas actual transformation, the change management or the kind of change that we try to bring into the system, this transformation improves capabilities. So I determine routine reforms as improved efficiency and would like to ensure or would like to define change or transformation as improving capabilities very clearly. Now these capabilities, when you talk about efficiencies, when you talk about transformation, let me give you an example. If some student or a faculty is asking a particular question and if they are one or two word in number, then probably what exactly are you reaching out or what exactly are you trying to get? It's a query by an individual. But if the same query is being asked by 10 people, then it's a process failure. If the same query is being repeated by almost like 100 or most of the majority of the population of your organization is having the same kind of question, then it's a communication failure. So I believe that these routine reforms can improve efficiency but not capabilities. And transformation is all about catapulting on the capabilities aspect. So means if you wish to have improved efficiency, routine reforms will work for you. But at the same time, if you want to ensure that your capabilities are enhancing, you are trying to scale up. The buzzword in the startup culture, right? When they want to scale up, the transformation is what will lead to scaling up any business process or the university. So I think that's the basic difference I can talk about.
Yes, so I completely agree, sir. transformation is a must now because with foreign universities coming, if we don't transform,
Yes.
we are inviting failure.
We will have to scale up.
Yes.
Roll up the sleeves and get on to the work.
Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful take on this topic, sir. Now my question is for Dr. Sudhakar Shinde. How has the traditional role of the registrar evolved in modern higher education institutions?
Thank you, ma'am. Role of traditional registrar has been changed a lot. Now there is a change in generation. Now we have to deal with the Gen Z. It's just not a typical students will come to the class, will listen to the teacher, do his classes. No. Student has got the information on their tip of fingers. And that's the role wherein registrar has to play. Digitalization of all the systems, we must have all the records or information which is available on the app so that student, we have seen in our during our college days as well, we have to give the clearance form, we need to go window to window, request their clerk, and the clerk becomes the super boss, and then students as a student we get hesitate with them, maybe a little bit resistance from the staff and the students, those chaotic conditions we have gone through. But nowadays we have to facilitate them. Students are the stakeholders, and for that we need to do changes in a many ways, like digitalization of the system, have ERP in a place, then our governance systems, and then the SOP for everything. Whatever we do, it has to be write down, well noted, wherein and it is informed to the stakeholders, whether it's the students or the faculty, they are well aware about what the system to follow. That will make life for easy to everyone, students per se, or with the faculty and staff members. So I would say registrar has to be upgrading his or her knowledge. We cannot just live in the system which were followed earlier days. That won't work in the future.
Great. So I think now the registrar has to become customer centric, a salesman, rather than just an administrator.
Yes, this role of custodian has changed a lot.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful take on this topic. Now my question again to Dr. Sanjeevni. In what ways can the registrar act as a strategic leader rather than only an administrative custodian?
Thank you once again. Strategic leaders means basic leadership starts with the compromisation. We have to compromise ourselves in front of the students, in front of the faculty, in front of the management. We have basically our role is the mediator. So we have to interact with the students also, faculty also, and the management also. So first, the main role of leader is to listen carefully and then react. So while students come up with any complaints, and we have to listen and then we have to take the action. Same case with the faculty also. When faculty comes, this is not the fair, this is not the why you have paternal leaves, why you are. So we have to give them the correct information and then react. But the same case with the management also. Sometimes management says this is not fair, why you have given so much liberty to the faculty or the student. In that case also we have to explain them carefully, not to hurt them, and with the right information we have to tell them that this is the answer. We have not given any liberty to them. So basic major role of the leadership is to listen from the student and then react. Again the leadership's I can say the major role is with the colleagues also. So we have to take care of the colleagues also. We have to give the we have to delegate the work to the colleagues, and then it will myself I cannot run the university anymore. So we have to delegate. The proper delegation is much more important in this case.
Great. So, because I feel you are full of humility, you have this wonderful take on this particular topic. I would say that registrar is that vada pav who, according to management, they might feel that you are saltless, whereas the faculty and students may feel that you are too salty. You are too sticky. So, that kind of.
Add on to Madam's things, now it's no longer just strategic decision making is very important as a registrar. When we have GB meeting, VO meetings, whatever the decision comes, so therein a registrar has to play a very critical role. Management may say X thing, but at the same time we need to understand that what are the implications of such kind of decision. So at the right time we need to tell what are the things, how it is going to impact upon the students, faculty and staff. Then it becomes easy for us to implement those decisions. Otherwise, just becoming that stereotype decision and then it revert back to us and then resolve those issues becomes a very difficult for as a registrar to handle those situations.
So registrar cannot be a yes man all the time. He needs to be a strategic leader who needs to convince the management by creating a story that why
Yes.
this particular decision is important.
Yes.
This question is for you, Dr. Navid. How does the registrar influence policy, governance, and institutional culture during change?
Okay, so how does it influence? I would say it's a very important portfolio when it comes to the role of a registrar in influencing policy and governance. But before that, having worked with some of the reputed institutions, what I have understood, and I really want to quote Peter Drucker over here. Peter Drucker says, the renowned author, teacher, facilitator, he says strategy eats your culture eats strategy in breakfast. So whatever strategy we may talk about, if you are not able to transform your organization into a culturally driven organization, probably your strategies will not work. So after having learned this, I feel that the role of each and every leader in the organization, including that of registrar, is very influential, because strategy is not just about policies and SOPs, or is what I have seen. And what I have experienced, that even you may have drawn some of the best policies and SOPs, taking consensus of lot of people. You have built consensus before rolling out a policy, but still there will be a particular strata of the organization which will not align with those SOPs and policies, and that's where these people will start derailing your processes. So rather than influencing as a registrar, I would like to mention that registrar is a strategic enabler. The role of a registrar is a strategic enabler, and to fix the culture of the organization, not just drive the organization's governance by SOPs and policies. The role of registrar can be far more encompassing or inclusive when it goes beyond the strategic goals. Strategic goals probably may falter, but if you have built the right culture, the culture where trust is mutual, where respect is mutual, and where people believe in each other's intent, strategic goals, probably the intents could be questioned, but when it comes to the cultural part, the organizational culture, what I am speaking about, if that is defined correctly, I feel even though people who are not in agreement with your policies and procedures, they would still believe that it is for a larger good, and that will set the culture of the organization. So it's very important that you identify those derailers, you identify the enablers, you identify the influencers, all put together. If you are driving the organization with right spirit, with right intent, I believe that in the long run, even the derailers will get neutralized, and you will be able to implement the policies in the right perspective with the desired outcome. So I think before being a strategic enabler, I would like to play a role of a person who's trying to build the organizational culture. And if that is achieved, your policies will be accepted, your SOPs will get implemented, and you will have the acceptability even with those derailers also. So, a big task, a daunting task with, as you rightly mentioned, you took an example of the famous vada pav of Maharashtra, right? I would say that the main ingredient, the potato, which goes in every dish, right? Registrar has to be like that potato, and it has to get fit into each and every boardroom, in each and every discussion. And listening is what Sanjeevani madam also mentioned, that you have to be a patient listener, because the derailers also have their own stories why they are doing so. Let me give you an example very briefly. We took an initiative, not in exactly in the current organization, but we took an initiative to implement an ERP, which is a very common scenario for every university. And the ERP was meant for operational seamlessness, transparent functioning, even though it takes some time in implementation. But then we found that there are few set of people who are completely against that particular implementation. I, again, with the kind of personality I am, I try to reach out to those people and try to understand what exactly is their concerns. After a lot of probing, means giving them the confidence that this is all good for the organization, after a lot of probing, I was able to conclude that they are not against the implementation, they are not against digital transformation. The only concern that these people had was about they will lose control. They will lose control was the concern. So I got the pulse. It was not, matlab, koi cheeze,
Control on papers.
control on papers. So there is a very famous anecdote by Honorable Minister Nitin Gadkari. He says कोई काम नहीं करना है तो उसको अटका दो, लटका दो, भटका दो, रखड़ा दो, कमिटी में डाल दो. So I have seen. So you need to identify these pulses. You need to identify those concerns. If you are able to rightly pick these things, right, and give them the confidence that your control is still there, right? It is only that you will get more exposure to what's happening and when and how it's happening. And then I found that this transformation is possible, and those derailers also participated in the digital transformation. So I feel it's every individual in the organization, whether enabler, whether derailer, or whether person who's influencing, has a story behind its own viewpoint. You need to rightly identify those viewpoints. You need to rightly understand those stories behind why the derailer is derailing the implementation. I think if you are able to do that and connect those dots, the task is not as simple as that what I am saying. It is very tough. It's very difficult to exactly get the crust of the information coming out of from them. But if you are able to do so, and as a leader, that's what the role of any leader is. If you are able to do so correctly, I think in long run you would have that influencing factor with the right perspective on the organization. So that's my take.
Great take, sir. I think after a long time I have heard somebody talking about organizational culture when it comes to university, because we hear these kind of statements only for corporate. But if universities actually build up that culture, and I have seen that universities who are culturally driven are the ones where success is easily met, because the bottom line, the real intent of these universities is very clear, and customers, the parents and students are usually looking for these kind of universities. Then, rightly mentioned by you, you need to find out using the 5 why analysis that why is this person not supporting, what is the hidden agenda. Great, sir, and thank you for that personal anecdote for us to relate to that particular statement.
Every university has their own culture.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
If I may add,
need to understand what is the culture and then need to accommodate it in that. So all things we get easily done.
if I may add just one single line in the end, I was similar thoughts were shared in one of the forum, and I was asked, "What do you mean by organizational culture?" And then I was taken aback. How should I explain this in one line? And impromptu it came out, and then when I studied further, I thought what answer I gave was very apt. I said unwritten rules still getting implemented and followed by larger cohort of the organization. That's the organizational culture. If they are driven by unwritten rules, SOPs and procedures, they are governed without policies and procedures. It means you have the right culture, people with right intent are carrying out their responsibilities without JDs, without KRAs, without KPIs. They have got ingrained in them as an organizational culture. It's a very daunting task. It was not at all, but it is easier said than done. But I feel that's the ultimate that we should aim at.
I completely agree because I have worked with Tatas, and in Tata we have these unwritten rules and culture. And that's why when we look at the Taj incident, those employees, they actually were still taking care of the customers
Yes.
when they were putting their life at risk. So
Right.
when it comes to somebody coming with gun in front of you, usually our body will have that flight mode on. But they didn't have that flight mode on because they were cultured to
Correct.
face
Take care of them.
take care of their customers even in that situation.
Fantastic.
So
Right.
this is what is very important. Thank you, sir, for highlighting the organizational culture as very important aspect of running an organization. Now, my question is for Dr. Chopade. What change management models can be effectively applied in university administration? Have you used any such models?
Yeah. So earlier, the student count or the student strength used to be on the lower side, so the entire data and the kind of work used to happen manually. But now it's not possible. So wherever possible, we have to go with the technology. So like ERPs, some universities are preferring ERPs, some of them are still in process. But I feel the use of technology is the first model which will help us a lot to save our time. Then it will help into the agility also. Because see, every time if you are calling that academician to share the data, then a lot of time of that academician may be utilized in the administration. So I personally feel at the max 10% of his time, weekly time, we may say 40 hours, but out of that 4 hours at the max, he may spend on administration. But more than that, he should not go with the academician. How it will happen? So first of all, the as you said, like the models. The basic model is like what is the role of an administration. So we have to help that academics. So academics should happen in their culture, in their way, in their flexibility, in their freedom, when it is possible, when the administrators are well aware about their roles and responsibilities. Otherwise, in a class, there is no overhead projector, light is not on, or some problems are there. So what that faculty is going to do? Faculty has to prepare. See, right now also there are administrators, they are coming to me and they are saying, what faculties are doing in the class? They are teaching only 1 hour. What rest of the hours they are doing in their cabins? But being a faculty, I know, I challenge them.
Yes.
If you want to go and teach in the class for 1 hour, you have to see how much preparation that faculty has to do and how much confidence he has to build himself before standing those students. Because see, it's not possible. Like everybody can go and speak into the class, but how many are attentive? You have to give something differently, and that is only possible because those faculties are studying a lot. They are carrying that much input with them. Then only it is possible. So the first model is like the administrator has to understand their roles. We have to support them. We should not utilize a single minute of the faculty, or we should not waste a single minute of the faculty into the administration. We should make everything in a place so that a faculty will reach to the class and immediately he can start interaction with the students or his lecture into the class. So that 1 hour effective teaching will happen with the students and it will give a great message. So secondly, like as I said, we as an administrator, what we are thinking, we have lot of work, we have to do this, we have to do that. These kind of statements were always coming from our subordinates, our colleagues. But why it is happening? Because lot of work in the administration is kind of laborious work. We have to do the repetitive kind of work. But I feel if we utilize the technology, all that repetitive kind of work may be taken care by the technology and we will reduce the time which we are losing into that repetitive kind of work. We will also get a time to think beyond our duties and responsibilities so that the next level of administration you can enroll into the university and which is now the necessity of the current universities. So that is what I feel from my side.
Very important, sir, and I am sure that you must be a favorite with your faculty because you are thinking about them.
I myself is a faculty. 15 years I taught mechanical engineering into the class, so I know.
I
You can
really agree with
empathize,
sir.
yeah.
Really agree with sir because what happens normally, there is always tussle between administrator and
Yes.
So unless and until we understand the role of academician as an administrator, we cannot understand their problems. So what exactly sir said, we need to put into their shoes. Then we can come up with a solution and then we facilitate.
With that, the next question is for you, sir. How can the registrar plan and implement change without disrupting academic stability? Just to take
No.
cue for
Yes. Now, as an administrator or a registrar, there are so many things to be done. Like we have to play with the data, whether it's NRF, AISG, or NBA,
Yeah,
NAC,
NBA, every.
and then we always put the faculty to get those details and faculty what sir was mentioning, they spend their lot of time into the academic administration per se, not the real academics. So for that purpose, registrar has to play very, very vital role. He has to make the resources available, wherein data will be at ease. It won't be any repetitive actions, and it will be available in an integrated manner so that what data given by the admission team, same data is to reciprocate in the examination, the same data is to be reciprocated into the accounts and finance team. Then our figures will match. Otherwise, it will be very chaotic conditions, and then the academician who deals with this data, like because normally academician are the IPSC members or they represented institute or university in front of higher committees. So registrar has to be very, very careful and he has to create a system wherein that data has to be filtered properly, check, verify, and then it goes to the end so that our data will not be mismatched and accuracy will be verified. So I say registrar has to very, very vigilant and be careful so that whatever the information we pass on to the government authorities or to the management has to be met.
And add into this, every university should have their separate data center. Otherwise, what is happening? See, as Sir has said rightly, we have NIF ranking, we have TBS ranking, then there are many other rankings. NAC is happening, MBA is happening. But for every ranking authority, they need that data in a particular format. But data, the level of data or whatever we are generating, that data is the same one, but only the formats are different. But every time, if we are calling those administrators or those faculties, you share that data in this format. So we are losing that time. I feel if that entire data has to be submitted to the data center, and data center will take care of one or two member in the data center, they can create those formats. Like NIF is requiring data in this format, NBA is requiring data in this format, or some other like ISHE and other monitoring portals, they need a data in these particular formats, but data is going to remain same. So that data center can do these kind of configurations and modifications, and they can share that data into the required format. But for the same data, we should not repetitively call those faculty members, or we should not insist them, you have to submit this data in this format only. So otherwise it will be insulting for them. We should not take that time.
Thank you so much, sir, because I completely understand where it is coming from. You can empathize with the faculty. And this question is for you, ma'am. How can innovation be balanced with regulatory compliance?
Innovation can be happened by digitalization. The odds data, as said, we have one data center. So if we have one data center, we can give the information to the government at any time and any form. So innovation, digitalization is the main thing. Again, record keeping is the one major thing which registrar plays the role in that. So innovation, we have this we need that system which implements the data structures, which implements the right informations, and we need lots of information we need to provide to the government. So basic my one small objection is there that if government doesn't ask many we stuck up on in that only. The registrar role plays a very vital role in that, because we need to every day we UGC asks one compliance, Aisha asks one compliance, and so when we follow the innovative ideas, we will play the.
Thank you so much. But now this question is for you, sir. Taking forward from this one nation, one data, do you think this will solve a lot of problems? And to add to that, what do you think is the registrar's role in risk mitigation and identification during transformation? Because you spoke about transformation.
Okay. So the first question, what you asked about one nation, one data, I think I completely agree with what Chopade sir mentioned, that there has to be a central data repository. No doubt about it. If at an institutional level you have a data repository, and the same central data repository, why can't it be at the regulators level as well? Because there are different regulators who are asking for data in different versions, different formats, at different point in time. So this one nation, one data definitely can eliminate a lot of issues. Apart from this, when it comes to risk mitigation, the next question that you asked was about risk mitigation. As a country, we are not very compliant as far as the European standards are concerned, or as far as the Latin America or American standards are concerned with respect to data privacy. And the kind of laws that are there in European nations, if I have to say like GDPR, right? Those kind of privacy enforcements are not there existent in our specific context, if we have to say. One nation, one data, we are right now also confronting that UIDAI, the Aadhaar database, also has got compromised. We have heard about those kind of news. Similarly, if this kind of data, which is so personal to a particular student, his family background, his residence addresses, his other credentials, like right now we are going for APAR ID, Aadhaar ID, and so on, his entire. So if these kind of data gets leaked, or if they are not protected properly with right kind of ecosystem, with right kind of digital infrastructure, then the risk is enormous. Because now you don't have to hack multiple data centers. One data center you hack and everything is gone, right? And data is the new oil, is what everyone is saying. And it has to be like that. If you see how data is being used, if you even for that matter, if you are right now, suppose if you are using any generative AI tool, they know everything about you now, right? What's your thought process, how you are asking question to the generative AI, and if you build upon, you are building your own algorithm, giving enough of the information about yourself by asking questions to generative AI, and how it is being used. Now these all databases, these data centers are not in India. The biggest user base is Indians. Unrestricted, unabated, unwarranted contents is getting catered to you. So the biggest risk that we face in this kind of structure is about protecting our data. If you are able to do so, then nothing like it. If you are not able to protect that way, then the question is about integrity. It's not only about system. It is not only about the processes or the ERPs or the databases. It's about the integrity as well of an individual. And if these are compromised, no level of security can protect your data from getting leaked. When it comes to transformation and these kind of major transformation, I would rather urge the regulators or the government to make sure that the infrastructure, the database, or I would say the data centers which are required, the kind of infrastructure that we need to have to ensure that these kind of policies or steps or initiatives of having one nation, one data to be implemented, and ensuring that these data remains protected also, they need to develop those infrastructure within the country first. We cannot wait, and at the same time we cannot go the route of China. What China has done, they have completely closed their economy. They have built their own social platforms, they have built their own data centers, they have built their own methods and layouts of using any and every kind of software tools. Right? They are not dependent on American. Can India replicate that? Practically no. Because that model needed a kind of one-man up ship, right? Means, I would say, I'm not saying dictatorship, but there was concerted leadership which continued for pretty long, and they were able to implement those policies and implement those steps that they thought 20 years back and still continued with that. Can it happen in India? Not possible. So we need to chalk out our own plans, we need to chalk out our own methods, how this can be done and how we can protect. We are not a country like Nepal, or we are not a country like Bangladesh where social media can erupt our youth into mass agitation against the administration. But at the same time, as a country, we are more learned, we are more educated, we are more responsible as a citizen. And I think it's a collective responsibility of government and organizations put together that if we need to have such a kind of situation where our data is protected, whether it is one nation, one data, whether it is one centralized database at the university or any organizational level, first we need to have the right infrastructure in place and then initiate these processes to protect the privacy of every individual who's bona fide student or bona fide faculty of the university. So I think these are the risk mitigations that we should look upon, and transformation is inevitable.
Thank you so much. Now my last question, second last question to Dr. Chopade is, how can compliance frameworks support institutional integrity?
Yes. So,
because you mentioned about affiliated colleges,
Yes.
where a lot of things was taken care by the public university. Now you have to do everything by yourself, right?
Yes.
From
Now-
examination to admission.
yes, now here in terms of the compliance and looking at the institutional rigidity, the role of registrar is very, very important. Here, first of all, we have to give the confidence to all the stakeholders. I mean to say, before making any policy, we should involve all those stakeholders. We should create those policies, those are benefited to the students as well as to all the stakeholders. I mean to say for the faculty or all the HR policies and everything. Because see, Registrar is a member secretary of the governing body, Registrar is a member secretary of the board of management, he is also a member secretary of academic council. So all the three major bodies of the university where Registrar is playing a role of member secretary. So if every policy or every kind of decision has been made as an inclusive kind of, like in the democracy, with that majority, if we are taking the decisions and if we are making those policies, so the internal resistance will be zero in that case. Next is the use of all those technologies, and registrar himself should be very honest and transparent. Because see, If I am not following those policies or the guidelines, acts, statutes, and ordinances, if I am giving injustice to all these statutory compliances from my side, then it won't be possible for me to give that equal justice to every individual. So, registrar plays a major role here. He has to be very honestly and transparently carry the entire kind of things. Those policies has to be followed very appropriately. And apart from this, if we make those policies, acts, statutes, and ordinances as a part of technology, and if we enroll them into a standard ERP system, and if you give the training to all your administrators, I think that will be the best possible solution for the today's private universities, and which will help us a lot carrying those compliances towards the government authorities. It may be a university grants commission, or it may be a higher education department of government of Maharashtra, or any other compliance committee visiting from any council who is associated with that university. So see, one data, one nation. Again, I am saying whatever I explained now, this is going to be towards the one data, one nation, because everything has been preserved properly. There is no need to do any kind of manipulation, or there is no need to do any kind of data tampering. It will be saved properly, and for the years is going to be remain there in the digital form. When I am there or I am not there, but whoever is going to come and sit on that chair, he will be having that data availability, and he can use the same data for any further compliances with the government authorities. There is no need to change. So this can help us for the compliance purpose. I personally feel so.
Thank you so much. Sir, my question to Dr. Sudhakar Shinde. What skills and competencies are required for administrative teams in agile institutions? And do you think your team has those skills?
Now everybody has to adopt those new skills. As we said, this is the world of digitization. So each one of us must understand the processes and the systems evolved by the compliant authorities like Government of India, UGC, Minister of Education, Director of Higher Education. They send so many circulars, so many notifications, and we have to comply with those information within a time. Sometimes they send the circular in the evening 5 o'clock, and next day they said you submit this data at 11 a.m. in the morning, because they already committed to their higher boss to submit that data. So, Registrar and his team must be equipped with the information. First thing, whatever the data you are having, whatever the information you are having, being a custodian, we need to update the data every day, every week, every month, so that we need not to go back and again ask the people to give the information. That's the first thing. Second thing, the skills, digitalized skill, especially about the event communication, the app communication, and then from the various sources where we get the information, all the staff members has to be well aware and vigilant, so that anything we cannot miss it, and we submit that information to the faculty members, right? I just remember one dialogue, the old movie, I believe, Asrani's one dialogue. He used to say, no, हम अंग्रेजों के ज़माने के जेलर हैं, अंग्रेजों के ज़माने के जेलर नहीं हैं, हम जेल जी के ज़माने के रजिस्टर हैं, और वो उसके आगे और कहते हैं कि हम नहीं बदलेंगे, तो आप कैसे बदलोगे, लेकिन हमें बदलना पड़ेगा, और हम बदलेंगे तो सब चीज़ें भी बदलेगी, और सिस्टम भी सही रहेगी। और ये इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे स्किल्स में स्पेशली कंप्यूटर नॉलेज तो बेसिक नॉलेज हो गया है, ऐप का नॉलेज बहुत बेसिक नॉलेज हो गया है, और जितने भी इसमें वेरियस टैब्स होते हैं, बहुत बार ऐसे होते हैं कि इंफॉर्मेशन वहाँ पे तो है, बट our staff members they are not able to see. So main thing is training about those apps, those systems, so that जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है, समटाइम्स अभी फॉर एग्जांपल एनआरएफ में हर बार कुछ ना कुछ नया चेंज लेके आते हैं, तो हमारे स्टाफ को, फैकल्टी को पता ही नहीं कि उसमें क्या एड ऑन किया है, तो जो एड ऑन चेंज है we need to make aware of those things so that our staff will get related with that, and then equip them so that nothing will miss out.
Thank you so much. And now we are almost at the end of today's panel discussion, so we will have one quick rapid fire. And this question is common to all of you. When we look at change management, in terms of change management, what one word you would give to registrar? It could be Hindi, English, Sanskrit, Marathi, any language you feel like. One word for registrar in terms of change management.
He should not be a rigid man.
Okay. Ajay, you
Yeah.
Yes.
Flexibility.
Innovative and driven.
Innovative and driven.
Should be ready for firefighting.
Okay.
Any solution, any problems, we should be ready for that.
So we have got a lot of new adjectives and roles for registrar, who is going to be the driver for change management, because we all know that private universities are driving change, and many students are paying almost 3 or 4 times the fees which they would otherwise pay and opt for private university.
Right.
Why is the entire world looking at India? Why are foreign universities coming to India? Because the Indian students have decided, they know that they can get the same equivalent quality in India in private universities. So it was immense pleasure for me to have this panel discussion being the moderator. Me, Dr. Kamaljeet Kaur, Executive Vice President, Ajeenkya DY Patil Group, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Confederation of Private Universities, Indian Universities Initiative, and Ajeenkya DY Patil University. We thank all the ST members, especially Dr. Chopade sir, Dr. Prashant Dave, and Dr. Shinde ma'am, who came all the way and participated in this fruitful session. There are so many takes with, and we'll look forward future collaboration and your thought process to take ahead. Knowledge sharing will definitely help us each other, and we look forward to meet you again and again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.